Which side of the split are you on? There is an agenda. I'm going to tell you what it is. You may not even know that you're participating in it. You have to make some decisions. We're transitioning. We're in the Great Awakening. It's already happening. We're past a tipping point. We're on our way to something amazing. If you want to participate, depends on where you want to go. I'm going to share with you some things that are going on right now. And I'm going to ask you some questions so you can decide if you've been sucked into the agenda or if you're going to step out of it into something pretty darn amazing that's going on. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. You know what they say, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. Are you being sucked into the agenda? What is the agenda? The agenda is unconsciousness, spreading fear, taking sides, and pointing fingers, judgment, separation. It is, most of the time, unconscious of what it's creating. It's very conscious of what it's doing. What is it? The ego. The more you are in density, the lower frequency, the more you will see sides in a material world where people are right and wrong. You'll be watching videos of who's doing what and who's spreading what propaganda. Here's what the agenda is. Anything you watch that is fear-based is creating it. All right, so we have all kinds of predictions and things that can come true if you focus on it because you're creating. You're that powerful. It's really that powerful. It really is happening. It doesn't create in a state of judgment. It just creates because everything's a choice and an adventure. Right now there is the split. The split is happening more and more. It's not a defined line. It really isn't. There are people that go back and forth into unconsciousness and then realizing that everything that they look at, everything they participate in, every argument is part of that old world where we were in density and unconsciousness. And anything with a focus on it is creating it. That means any media that you're watching, all of it. Can you shut it down? Can you? People say, I need to know what's going on, but you know that it's not really what's going on. There's a programming that's going on by the agenda that's going to tell you a story according to what it thinks. Otherwise, news would just be news. You wouldn't be able to tune into different channels and get a different perspective on what's really going on. It just would be the facts as they are presented in the material world, but that's not what goes on. There's always debates and arguments, and the more you watch that, the more you create the divide and the split. So when you focus on the split and taking sides, you are part of the unconsciousness. It's just that simple. You don't want to go there, do you? How would you like to be the problem solver? So here's what we can do. We can go into the pointing fingers and running away. You know, I help people, I guide them to some great people I collaborate with to go off grid. Now, there are two ways you can do that. You can go off grid to create a new world for yourself and others, and inclusive, or you can do it to run away. The same thing goes with doing good things. You can do it to separate yourself from those who you believe are wrong, or you can be the problem solver who creates a completely new world. Instead of pointing fingers on what is wrong, you're simply saying this is an opportunity to do something really great. In fact, that's what everything is. It's presented to you as an opportunity to choose something amazing, expansive, higher. What are you doing right now? Are you the solution, or are you still part of the agenda? The agenda is addictive. And people will say, do you know this is going on? And I say, no, because I'm focused on what I can do that is positive and will change the world. And then people will call you a Pollyanna or whatever. So what's their choice? Negativity, anger, separation, pointing fingers, judgment. It's not a nice place to live. And you're going to live in anxiety and fear, and you're going to go back and forth between the feelings of, yes, we're okay, and we're going to hell in a handbasket. You can neutral that out. You can see the world as an individual experience of journeys that play out that we agree to engage in, because we're not separate. So everything you do affects absolutely everything and everyone. It just does, because it is one thing. So the individual you think you are is really making decisions as part of the energy field of one. So you can affect everybody by coming up with solutions, art, inspiration, poetry, reading to old people in homes, making somebody happy, carrying somebody's groceries. It's really that simple. And if your whole life revolves around service to others, and that means for yourself, when you do good things for yourself, you're serving others because you're spreading that higher frequency. So I said, I did a video on Ask It Is Giving. Somebody said it was Abraham Hicks. No, it's actually Joseph Murphy. And by the way, he learned that from Abdullah. This has been handed down forever. This is not original stuff. Ask It Is Given has taken on a completely different meaning in our world because we are ego-based and we want to ask and get and receive. Ask and it is given. I want, and I teach, give, and you shall receive. Whatever you're giving, including your thoughts, are what you're receiving. So if you're asking out of lack, or I don't have, or I need something, fear, then you will receive exactly that with no judgment. Now, if you give abundance, even if you don't have a lot, you can still give in many ways. It doesn't have to be material things. You can give love and compliments and services and positive thinking. Let's start with that, and you're going to receive that. All of a sudden, the right people are going to come in because now you're on that frequency. It's just that simple. If you are part of the agenda, you're watching news, you're tweeting, whatever you're doing, that you say, well, but, there's no buts on my channel. Why? Because we have a choice and free will to do anything we please, and nobody else stops you from that. Nobody makes you angry. Nobody does anything that places you in a negative space. You and you alone hold that power. And that's what we have to learn here, is that we do have a choice no matter what happens in that world out there. And through that positive choice, we affect the world out there. Are you part of the agenda? The agenda is unconscious. It's ego-based, it's in fear, it believes that it needs to control. And it controls even if it presents itself as the good guys. It's still a control mechanism of the ego. It's no different. It's no different because the results are still conflict and separation. And that's all just low consciousness. And we want to come out of that. That's your assignment here, is to come into consciousness and know what you are, and that every thought is absolutely amazingly powerful, and that fear you can observe, and that you can experience all these feelings and all these things we go into as human beings and triumph over them, not as something to conquer, but something to recognize that it's just a choice. That's all it is. It exists for us to experience so that we can know that which we are, and that is pure light and unconditional love. So you can go into fear, that's your choice, or you can send me a video. I can't tell you how many people send me video. You need to watch this. I said, no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't need to watch other spiritual teachers. I don't need to watch anything. When you go into a space, you get all the answers you need. And guess what? No one person has all of them because we're still in density. But you can get information and go into what I call the knowing. The knowing requires no answers, no analysis, no anything. It requires nothing. It just goes into a space of non-judgment and unconditional love, compassion, seeing the pain in others and knowing they're coming from something that we would love to, let's just say, allow them to change through our own giving of love, and therefore they can make that choice on their own, and it's theirs to make. I hope you'll subscribe. Free videos for online business training, which is what I do for a living. And these are free. I've got some great stuff in that series, that video series. A lot of free stuff. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. We're going to talk more about this because guess what? It's getting very powerful, both sides. It only takes a very small percentage of the awakened ones to affect all the others. Allow them their journey. Judge it not. I'll see you there. Namaste.